I really hope this is it, because if this is all they're going to do, then I am confident that our analysis that this was calibrated and even agreed through the back channels that we've discussed, then we can get through this period.
We're covering this developing story of the Iranian missile attack on a US base in Qatar. So far, news is that there have been no casualties, no deaths at this stage. It's reported that the missile attack was according to the Iranian account, of limited scale. It was coordinated, it's reported, with Qatar to make sure there were not any unforeseen casualties. It all speaks to the idea of an operation mounted with the idea of staging a limited response to avoid a limited counter response. Adam Bolton is here. Adam.
Yeah, just a brief note. Call the market cynical if you like, but it's been reported that oil prices have actually fallen quite significantly since this assault began, which I think underlines the suggestion that it is being seen as a symbolic action by Iran rather than an escalation.
And not then, the market's not anticipating a sudden crisis-driven spike in oil prices by the Iranians choosing to try to block the Strait of Hormuz, that crucial oil route for the Gulf states. Jim Townsend joins us, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence for Europe and NATO. Welcome to you. Welcome back to the programme, Jim.
Well, it's great to see you all. I'm actually at the summit in The Hague, sitting right outside some of the action here, and happy to be with you.
And it's good to get you here from there. A lot of our focus is going to be on that NATO summit tomorrow. I mean, I guess you can't know the answer to this, Jim, but would you anticipate that President Trump will make the trip to where you are after this?
Well, you know, that's the rumor going around here, is whether he's going to send Marco Rubio instead, that he would stay there to handle these attacks. I think a lot depends on what might follow up with Iran. If this is one of those tit for tat types of things where there's this kabuki dance, the Iranians try to match what we did in terms of numbers of munitions dropped, and then they feel they've done their response and now they can be in de-escalation. Or if Trump says, look, I told you not to attack American forces, you've done that, and now I'm going to double down and I'm going to strike you tonight. And so he ups the ante. And if he ups the ante, then we'll be in some type of spiral because, of course, Iran would have to respond. And so we won't have this kind of de-escalatory response that we've seen in the past. So, if it gets into a spiral, I could see him staying put in Washington and sending Marco Rubio.
Right. And Jim, I mean, you know American politics better than I do, and domestic American politics will intrude into that judgment, won't it? The president, he won't want to make the rift in his own camp of supporters, the MAGA movement, which is split on this issue of the Iranian war. He won't want to make that worse if he can avoid it, surely.
Well, I think he will certainly have that in mind, but I think right now he's concerned about what he looks like as a leader. He's going to want to look tough. He's going to want to look like someone you don't mess with. The type of person that's going to double down is kind of his MO, if you will. So it really just depends on if this is the end for the Iranian response. And this is something that he can then, if he chooses to, he can then not respond, and then we have a de-escalation. But if he feels he needs to look a certain way, and if his MAGA people are, instead of being split, they're all behind him in terms of responding to an attack on American personnel, then, that'd be a whole different political arrangement for him to deal with. So a lot depends on how he chooses to interpret what the Iranians have done, and if he doubles down. If he doubles down, that's to make himself look tough, and it's to probably be in response to his MAGA people who are falling in behind him to really give it to the Iranians because of what they've done to our boys.
Right, a lot depends on how people react and choose to react just in these coming hours. Adam Bolton here with me in the studio. So is Joe Tanner. Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think there is a chance that Trump would actually want to be sort of alongside NATO leaders to sort of, to be be with pals, to look sort of that he's got support, friends, allies, and that would be part of the sort of tough posturing, because being isolated, still staying in Washington, there's a risk perhaps that he, I'm sure for other leaders, they're going to want to sort of be around him to perhaps keep him calm if this is all part of a major play that Iran have done. So do you think there is a possibility that sort of world leaders will be sort of encouraging him rather than leaving him to have that sort of MAGA influence around him?
Well, it's a very good point, and it's something that American presidents in the past would have appreciated. They want to make sure that the adversaries were shown that the allies were behind the United States, the allies were behind the president. He would have gone to receive the support publicly by his pals, if you will, but that's not Trump. He doesn't feel so kindly towards NATO, nor to a lot of European leaders. He does like Keir Starmer, we know that. But I feel that he gets more juice out of being the lone warrior. He gets more juice out of standing there with the military and facing the threat himself, and not feeling that he needs to have anybody around him. Right. So I think what you're saying is right for a lot of other presidents, but not for this one.
Interesting. And Tim Marshall, still with us. We've seen what's happening this evening. We have not seen today any statement or follow-up on the decision of the Iranian parliament to block the Straits of Hormuz. Is that in itself, Tim, significant? Is it the case that the Iranian parliament can rattle the saber in that way, but it would need the government and the Ayatollahs, the supreme leader, to endorse that, to make it happen, and it has not happened?
Yeah, very much so. The Iranian parliament, the Majlis, doesn't get to decide anything important. It is used as a mouthpiece when the Iranians want to signal something to the world. So they got the parliament to say, we think we should close the Strait of Hormuz. But everybody knows it's down to the National Security Council and the supreme leader. Now, what the Iranians have done today is calibrated, they hope, I suspect, to fall short of getting an American response. Closing the Strait of Hormuz guarantees an American response. So Times Radio was kind enough to invite me onto the breakfast program this morning. I said that I think if we can get through the next 48 hours without significant American casualties and damage, I think towards the end of the week, the diplomatic window opens. And that's because at this point, in a few days' time, the Israelis are simply going to be rearranging the rubble. They're running out of targets. And so I think I wouldn't say a mission accomplished, but with the job mostly done, I think the window for diplomacy opens. But, as Katie has said, in fact, as we've all agreed, if Mr. Trump decides no one's firing at us and decides to come back in, then I don't know where we're going except to a bad place. Yeah. If he decides, okay, let them have their day, everyone knows the real truth, then I think diplomacy can kick in towards the end of the week.
Right. Well, that is I know it's not a firm prediction, but I mean your reading is a significant one, and I, for one, and I'm not the only one, put a certain amount of faith in your judgment, Tim. And I'll mention this and get a thought from both of you on this. The Americans have now confirmed that no American has been injured in this strike on the Qatari base, and that it was necessary for that to be the case, Jim, wasn't it?
That's right. I think that was necessary in terms of not goading Trump into feeling that now he's got to double down. If there had been casualties, he wouldn't have been able to walk away from that and say, well, we're done here. I think he would have felt personally, and I think he would have, some of his MAGA people would have urged him on to show them that you mean business. So let's see what happens if things are cool in terms of Iran. If this is it, this, as your colleague just said, the window to some type of talks later on this week could open, because at the end of the day, he has not given up on that. So let's see if Iran is quiet for the next 24 hours. I think we might be in a better place.
And Tim, just picking up on that news, with no American casualties as a result of this missile attack, there's clear evidence there of this attack being planned and calibrated to avoid that, and you can conclude from that, surely, this will be it. There will be no follow-up Iranian attacks on other US military sites or other sites. They hope and will hope this has made the point.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, there were reports that one of the bases in Iraq might have been targeted, but there's nothing confirmed. Sirens went off in Bahrain, but that was an hour ago. No impacts, nothing anywhere else. I mean, I really hope this is it, because if this is all they're going to do, then I am confident that our analysis that this was calibrated and even agreed through the back channels that we've discussed, then we can get through this period, but not out of the woods yet. But Adam mentioned the oil price. I was about to. I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, I'm not saying the markets know everything, but they do price stuff in. And oil is at 69, and that's still $69 a barrel. That's still pretty much up on where it was before this latest round all kicked off.
Interesting signal. But Tim Marshall and Jim Townsend, thank you so much. We started just an hour ago contemplating what may have turned out to be a major escalation. Now, an hour later, we're looking at a significant possibility of diplomatic progress even within days. Kate Borsay will pick up this important story in just a moment's time. Joe and Adam, thank you so much.